So this video is going to be on warm-up. It's going to be how to warm up and what's going on when you warm up, and then the different levels and the tiers of warming up. So I'm going to be operating at like the medium tier of warming up. So this is going to be like a very human, very body-oriented warm-up. We're going to dabble into how to get warmed up deeper. So like how to get the heart going, how to get more blood into the muscles and into the extremities and into the body in general, how to increase that blood pressure. That's all warming up. And then also warming up is regular, rhythmic training and lifestyle and practice. So if you do something like very rhythmically for like 3 months, that generates a kind of like baseline warm-up within which you can do the stuff that we're going to talk about in this video. And then if you do the stuff that we talk about in this video with a lot of focus and a lot of intensity, you can go from that level inward and warm up deeper and deeper aspects about yourself. As you warm up deeper and deeper aspects, then you'll notice that there's more accessible, there's more power at the mid-tier layer. So you'll see strength increases or whatever else. So I think this is a pretty traditional Chinese Kung Fu like warm up, but this applies to all sports. Everyone kind of does the same thing. So the most you can try, the most you can warm up is by moving with the entirety of the vascular system, the entirety of the blood supply. And so imagine that you're just in a pool of water, right? That's going to be your body water. So imagine that you're in a pool. Like when you interact with the body water, it's identical to being in a pool. And so the warm up is to, what's the hardest, if you're floating in the ocean, you can't touch the ground, right? You're only thinking about the water. What's the most amount of force that you can generate in the water? And the most amount of force you can generate in water is pushing with every part of the body equally so that it supports the motion, and you're pushing into the water that way. You're rotating into the water, counter rotations with the legs, the arms, the limbs. The whole thing is swimming, and like you can take really big power strokes. And when you do that, it kind of causes like a reset. So you'll find that in Kung Fu, they would do stuff in horse stance and then do stuff like this. This is an opportunity, these repetitive movements, to make sure that the entire structure is swimming. Especially the main areas like the hips and the back, and obviously the legs. Like really every area is important that it be swimming, or you lose massive amounts of function. And so when every area of the body is swimming, that's just called being, like, people call that feeling loose. But what they're doing is swimming through the body water. And then you can practice generating more power or taking powerful strokes into the water. And that's the same as like how strong of a stroke could you take swimming, right? You can only pull on the water so hard, otherwise it starts to slip. So you have to figure out how to push with the whole body into the motion so that you don't slip through the water. And when you're dealing with your fluidic strength, which is your cardiovascular strength, the most output you can do is the amount of pressure that you can put into the water, which isn't that much unless you get something heavy, and then you can build up blood pressure, you can build up pressure into the water, and that pressure lets you generate more force. But if there's no pressure being generated, like if the kinetic chain is open, then the maximum amount of force that you can generate from any one movement And so just like to stay centered in the body water at first, like if you're doing this, you have to do a lot of movement. Like if you're a bad swimmer, there's a lot of thrashing. But as you get used to like, what does it feel like to really be tractioned in, then just like a swimmer can start having these long, powerful strokes that get them just as far, if not farther, than somebody thrashing. Centering in the water, centering in the cardiovascular system, can get a similar type of gentleness. And so if with like really just gentle, deliberate, like I'm going to be in this space with this correct mindset, without any like, oh, I got a strain or I'm doing this thing, you can, the energy system turns on and you'll break a sweat, right? Or you get down and like, I have to do these movements to keep my legs swimming, right? Like if I stop doing these movements, my structure falls out of the water onto the ground. And so I don't feel the blood supply as much circulating. But with these tiny little motions, it's like I'm treading water in my cardiovascular system, like all of it. Like this is legs right here. It's head, it's everything. And so just tiny little motions lets me tread water, even if my physiology right now would be so that I like kind of sink. And then, seeing when you're warmed up, it's similar to that feeling when you're on a treadmill and you get off and your energy's cycling so much in that pattern that it feels like it's just going to carry you around. Getting properly warmed up, breaking that sweat, centers you in the body water, and you should feel that you're in it. And so when your metabolism's in the water, you're centered in your water, your body, your breath is centered in your body, which you can also accomplish via just very slight breath mindfulness, as like just slow down a second. Okay, there's some tension, there's my desire to breathe. I just want to, whatever I have to do, I want to maintain that tension. I don't want to get it so much that I gasp, and I don't want to just like breathe in so that I'm full, so that there's no breath tension. So just a little bit of tension with the breathing. And so you see there's that desire to breathe, connecting to the breath, connecting to the body, connecting to this ability to kind of swim or move. And then with that tension, so the tension to breathe is a tension exactly like leg tension, right? Like my leg tension keeps me up, and then I press or I swim with that leg tension to take a step. So with the breath tension, same thing. Okay, I have a desire to breathe. My breath, my blood has come under tension, and then my will can swim that breath tension. And that breath tension is connected to the blood tension. The blood tension is connected to the muscular tension. All of that is in water, it's in fluidic space, it's in consciousness. And so the degree to which you can stay there and be mindful is the tension is a single unit, and it's within the parameters that it can stay in the water. Like, so the degree to which you can send a wave there, right? The degree to which your mind can control the water and put the water in the correct shape so that the body can be floated, that's your range of motion. Your range of motion isn't primarily the length or the contractile ability of the structure. It's the ability of the mind to push the water into a posture, and in that posture the body is floated, and so then you have the strength to be in the position, just because it's almost weightless from the mental ability of putting the water there. And so when that kind of seeing that that's the game, and that you just want your body to stay in the water, you accept your range of motion, you accept your strength, so you are where you are. Then from there, you just move the water around and you're surfing on it naturally. And that training or that building up of the mind's ability to push the water, that's the sweet spot. That's kind of the flow state. That's where you would want to get for warm up. So yeah, that's a warm up.